And now for an amazing true story, rooted in the book of Colossians. But this time, we're not staying in one book. We're covering the entire Bible.
In the beginning, God made a magnificent paradise, and everything in it was good. He made water and land, plants and trees, fish, birds and animals. And then, from the very dust of the earth, God made a man named Adam. And from one of Adam's ribs, God made a woman named Eve. They were the first two people on earth, made in the image of God, living peacefully in paradise. Until they made a terrible choice. God gave Adam and Eve one rule.
You must not eat the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If you do, you will die.
But the temptation proved to be irresistible to Adam and Eve. So, they broke God's rule, and what was once a paradise became a broken world. People started to tell lies. It was the woman you put here with me. She made me eat it. Brother fought with brother. No! Selfishness spread through generations.
When our tower is complete, we will be more famous than God himself.
Where there had been peace in the garden, there was now pain and death and sin that separated people from their Creator. But God had a plan to make peace once again with the people He loved so much. Hundreds of years after Adam and Eve had broken His rule, God chose a man named Abraham and said,
Look up at the stars and count them if you can. That's how many children you will have, and the whole earth would be blessed through your family.
Abraham had a son.
We'll call him Isaac.
And Isaac grew up and had sons of his own. Oh my goodness, twins! And those two sons, Jacob and Esau, grew up and had children as well. In fact, Jacob, who was also called Israel, had 12 sons. I called this one Joseph. Yeah, he's my favorite. So God had given Abraham a huge family, just as He had promised. But God's people, the Israelites, were still lost and broken, separated from Him. They didn't have peace. They didn't have peace when God rescued them from slavery in Egypt.
Desert food stinks. What are we supposed to eat out here? Sand?
They didn't have peace when God led the people through the Red Sea to escape their enemies.
Big deal. Let's get to the promised land already.
The nation of Israel didn't have peace when God gave them a new law.
Those commandments are hard. We want a king, like all the other nations.
And they didn't have peace when God gave them a king.
The king's laws are no fair. We want a new God, like all the other nations.
Nothing brought them peace. Not laws, not kings, not a promised land. Nothing. The people were still lost and separated and broken from God. It was this way for thousands of years. But God had not forgotten the promise He made to Abraham.
The whole earth will be blessed through your family.
God still had a plan to show His people just how much He cared for them. He knew that this broken world was never going to be able to rescue itself. So God made a way. God sent His Son Jesus to bring peace on earth once and for all. Jesus grew up and He taught the people about love and compassion, forgiveness and grace. He healed the sick, befriended the outcasts. He loved people so deeply, He gave His life on a cross to pay for the sins of the world. And the Bible tells us that God made peace through Christ's blood, through His death on the cross. And because of Jesus' sacrifice, people no longer have to be separated from God. 3 days after He was killed, Jesus came back from the dead. He's more powerful than sin, more powerful than death, and through Him, we can have peace with God, as God intended from the very beginning.